The first step as usual is to move over to new project. Name your project. This one is for a YouTube channel called Sony Baby. And this is part 1. Just name it. Move over to the project location. Choose a location. Dedicate a folder. Make sure you dedicate a folder, specific folder just to do that. Let me find a folder. Let me find a good place to put this. So under video, I have YouTube. So let me name this Sony Baby. So once you get to this step, it is important to consider something within workflow. We need a few folders. We are not going to just throw everything within this one folder. We need the following folders. We have one folder for edit. That folder is just going to be where we are going to save this project. We are going to have another folder for the finished videos. So this is where once I finish the YouTube video and the social media videos, I am going to direct them to be saved here. Even for rendering, all of the videos are going to be pushed to that folder. We have another folder called Proxies. Now, if your computer does not have the resources and sometimes it lags, we create low resolution files to use while you're editing. For example, the clips we are going to edit are 4K clips that are shot in a format called log. They are very heavy on the computer, but Premiere Pro can create low resolution files for you to edit with. Only for editing, when you come back to rendering, the original files are what is going to get rendered. And then after this one, we can say we want to have assets. So what are assets? If you're going to use images, we are going to use music. We also may be going to use clips from other videos. We want all of them to be within that folder. So up to this point, the only thing we have is the edit, and this is where we are going to save our edit. Select folder and then create that project. And here we are. Now we can go about changing the workspace, because in the previous project that I did, I used a vertical workspace. I prefer to use this workspace called effects, and I can just reset it. Let me just reset that by moving here to reset to saved layout. Now let us load our clips. Now remember how we load these clips. We have a few options. You can drag and drop them onto this panel called project, or you can just import them directly. You can double click here and locate your files. So this is where my files are. I actually have two folders, A-roll and B-roll. I can load them first. Let me just load everything from A-roll. Open. Good. Now that we have the clips here, you can extend this a little bit. Create what we call a bin. I want to have the same system I had in my folder where I have A-roll and B-roll. Create a new bin here. Name it A-roll. And then select everything using Ctrl-A within the project panel. You can deselect the folder itself because we want to drop the files in there. So just hold Ctrl after selecting everything and drag everything within that folder. So that is one way you can load the clips first and then create the bin, or you can also create the bin first. So create another bin. This one is for B-roll. Double click within it, and you can also double click again. Move over to your B-roll and select everything. Ctrl-A and open. I think this second method actually favors workflow. It is much easier. It feels much easier. Now that we have both of them here, we can now create our proxies. Let us open our A-roll footage, right click on any clip here and move over to properties. So within properties, I want us to understand our footage here. It says that our footage has an image size of 3840 by 2160. This is what we call 4K. There is also something else here that we call frame rate. So this is shot at 59.99. We just round this off to say 60. Now this frame rate is specifically shot to accommodate converting the footage to slow motion. So normal frame rate is usually 24 FPS, 30 FPS or 25. When you see this 60, just know that that footage has a good capability of moving over to slow motion. And then there are all of these other things here that we want to just keep in mind. We just want to put them somewhere in the corner of our mind. So the color space is Rec 709. We're going to talk about that. This footage, as mentioned, has been shot in log. You notice it has a whitewashed look. That is something we are going to learn how to color grade. And then we have something here that says an input lat, none. And the lat stands for a lookup table. There is no lookup table that has been applied to this video. And the video format here is this codec we call HEVC, and it has been shot at 10-bit. So we have a few things that we can put at the corner of our minds before we even start editing. The first thing I want us to do, because we are now creating the proxy, is to consider that we want to move away from this HEVC and go over to a lighter codec. This codec can be a little bit heavy, and that codec is what we call H.264 or MP4. So select everything in this folder and then right click, move over to proxy. and then create proxy. So the format is H.264. Remember, H.264 is what we call MP4, and then the preset low resolution proxy, we can use that one. So that is all we have to do here, and then press OK. So Adobe Media Encoder is going to open up because that is what is going to create these proxies. We are going to make a few changes within Adobe Media Encoder and then come back. So once they are all loaded, and you can now start off this process. All you have to do is press Start Queue so that all of those proxies are created. While this is happening, you can take a small break and then you can wait for them to come back later.